Namaste everyone, welcome to the Cārvāka podcast. This is Kushalmehra. So, in the last 10 years, the Canadian society has had a fundamental change, especially in the last 5 years. Since the year 2021-22, post COVID, the Canadian immigration system had a very distinct change. And there was, at least by all means, if we consider legal illegal numbers of immigration together, at least 5 million people have come in Canada in the last 5 years, if I was to be conservative in my opinion. And not all of this immigration was intended to be settling people in Canada. A lot of this immigration also was driven by the fact that under the Biden administration, there was this message sent by former President Biden, if people remember, where he said, "We are open." And boy, were they open. I remember a very detailed documentary about illegal migration at the Mexican border. And for the first time in its entire life, somebody had said that Indians are there in hordes in illegal immigration. The results, as we say, are for everyone to see. Mass immigration created all sorts of problems in Canada. We had the rise of overnight diploma mills, some diploma mills that existed only in paper, but in reality were outsourcing education to someone else, which was highlighted by one of my guests today, Darshan Maharaja. And there are many such cases. So today we are together because we want to talk about all these subjects. So I have with me, as always, Darshan Maharaja and Tahir Gora. So today we are going to discuss in English. We could have easily done this in Hindi, Urdu, Punjabi, whatever we wanted to, but we chose to speak in English because this podcast is not just aimed at an Indian audience. It is aimed at Canadians watching it too. And the net result of the last 5 years, and I apologize for this long winding opening statement because you have to set things up, is that today there is not a day goes by that somebody or the other on the internet does not hate on an Indian. And somebody has a bad bowel movement also, they will say the Indians, they brought curry and that curry led to my bowel syndrome. So that's what we have come down to. So gentlemen, a very warm welcome.
Thank you.
And now both of you have been staying in Canada much longer than I have. Tahir bhai, I think you came here in 99.
99, yes.
Yeah, and Darshan bhai,
Yeah, I've been here 21 years.
21 years. So I mean, you guys have had more than a cricketing batsman's career in Canada. So
Yeah, almost half life,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah, right.
yeah, so both of you have spent a giant chunk of your life over here. First of all, in your entire existence, have you ever seen or witnessed this level of vitriol, disinformation too? Because a lot of Indian hatred is also disinformation, and we'll talk about everything.
Yes,
because there is
yes.
a Pakistani angle in this also.
Of course. Unfortunately, starting from England, I'm not using the word Paki as a derogatory word, but Paki is being used, maligned by mainstream Europeans, Canadians, to everyone. Paki is attributed to Pakistanis,
Yeah,
but now everyone is Paki for them.
yeah.
So, as you said, we will bring Pakistani angle too. So this is the biggest Pakistani angle.
But somewhere down the line, I need to start talking about this. Darshan bhai, you probably were the one who. Now, people tried to dismiss you when you had raised the motion M44 for the first time by saying it's just a motion. They say it has no legal binding.
Yes. Motions are dual use weapons.
It is like most times motions are virtue signaling,
Yes.
and sometimes they become the law.
Yeah.
And
Because-
the discretion is in the hands of the parliamentarians.
Or the party in power, to be precise.
So talk about this.
So, for example, you remember, and Tahir bhai knows it very well, much better than anybody else probably in Canada, motion M103 from 2017, the so-called Islamophobia motion. at that time also. And a lot of Canadians are not clear about the distinction between a bill and a motion. A bill, if it is passed, it automatically becomes the law of the land. A motion can become the policy of the government if it chooses to make it so. So the pushback against motion M103 had some effect, and Tahir was one of the people leading that pushback. But in case of motion M44, my assessment is that all the parties were in agreement that this should move forward and become policy. So the motion was introduced, and a few months later it was passed by unanimous consent.
So you mean Pierre Poilievre, who says that the temporary foreign worker program is a disaster,
Voted
himself
for it
for the temporary foreign worker program?
individually himself, not just the party, he himself.
Oh,
For
nice.
example, and I'm making this distinction because Michel Rempel-Garner, who is the immigration critic for the Conservatives now,
Who keeps tweeting the same line every day?
yes, good morning, we are going to win. I
Mere
asked,
Karan Arjun aayenge.
I asked her to define we, but she hasn't replied. But anyway, she did not vote on that motion at all. So out of the, I think Conservatives had 119 or so MPs at the time. 113 voted, and all of them voted yes. Not a single one voted no. The Bloc voted yes. NDP voted yes. Greens voted yes. There was an independent MP, chucked out of the caucus. He also voted yes. So 324 to 0. Now again, there is a sidebar here, which is that at different times the website of the parliament shows 323 to 1 or 324 to 0, which makes me wonder how reliable the government's information is, official information.
Yeah, because I shared a screenshot
Yeah.
with you about the one being that Karina Gould, who had
Yeah.
voted no.
Yeah. Someone pointed out to me that there was some kind of an amendment proposed to which she had voted no, but I have not checked it out. But in any case, this basically passed unanimously. 5 months later, the minister at the time, Sean Fraser, came out with a 5-point report, which Liberal MP Randeep Sarai, who had sponsored motion M44, posted a video about it on social media, saying these are the 5 points. And at the end of that, less than 1 minute, I think it's about 54-second video, at the end of it, he says that all temporary foreign workers and international students will have a pathway to permanent residency.
Okay, can I just say something here?
Mhm.
I think we need to mention who was the shadow immigration minister at that time too. Jasraj Singh Hallan.
Jasraj Singh Hallan, yes. Conservative, yeah.
Right.
This is if there ever was a fixed match.
So, this word pathway is the wink wink nudge nudge element in this policy,
Yes.
and it was sold primarily in Punjab as a guarantee, although the fine print on all government literature documents, website, wherever, says there is no guarantee, but it was sold as a guarantee. Then there is this you can call it supply chain, where answerability or responsibility can be disowned at some point. So there are illegal agents, then there are some kind of representatives. The colleges appoint representatives to recruit students. Now, for the last 1.5 years, I am the only one hammering on motion M44, more than 1.5 years, right? So which makes me wonder, like, there is at least a couple of dozen journalists following me on Twitter. Why has nobody taken it up? Why is no political party talking about it now? That we know, because they all voted yes. But no journalist has taken it up. No publication, think tank, nobody has taken it up.
So mainstream journalism in Canada has not taken it up. Now, I remember this article, and I'm bringing a lot of old articles today is because I want to tell people that, boss, these things matter. These things matter. So this was written by The Shadowy Business of International Education. Foreign students are lied and exploited on every front.
Yeah.
They're also propping up higher education as we know it, by Nicholas Yoon Brown. So this was written on May 29, 2022. And
21.
22.
22?
Yeah, 22.
Okay.
And this, the fascinating bit is, I'll show it to you over here. It is so brazen and so blatant over here. And this was written, obviously, look at this bit, right? Beyond the clear cut instances of fraud, the entire system in Canada is built around the false premise that education, not work, and immigration is the primary aim for most students. According to a survey by the Canadian Bureau of International Education, 60% of students intend to apply for permanent residency, a percentage that is likely far higher if you look solely at students attending community colleges. Now, this is the killer quote. Everybody knows it's just a pathway to PR, says Prithviraj. That's what the government is encouraging. That's what the agents are selling. Any way you slice it, everybody is in on this. Tahir, why everybody was in on this? Then why the hell did the government of the day and the opposition not attempt, and is not attempting,
Right.
to clamp down and condemn the racist messages? See what this article and a slew of articles on and off, you can count at least 100 articles that were written in the last 5 years, which by any standards are ridiculous. It should have been in thousands, in my view. This should have been the only story of Canada. You can count 100 articles written on this. On international students committing suicides, maybe 10 or 15. On sexual exploitation of international students, 10 or 15. Out of which it only started becoming a thing when I raised it on my podcast. So the point being, Tahir bhai,
Yes.
today the Indian community in Canada is facing a tsunami of racism. It is there. It is very palpable. It may not be on the streets because Canadian society is fundamentally decent that way. So certain lines, even if they feel like it, are not crossed. I repeat, even if they feel like it, are not crossed. But on the internet, the comfort of the anonymity it provides, shit has just hit the roof, or probably the roof is only made of shit now. I don't know. What am I supposed to say? So how can the political class be excused in this, Tahir bhai?
No, absolutely not. When I moved to Canada in 1999, I had hope that I'll live Canadian life. But sooner I realized no. In fact, I am in the same, unfortunately, shit. And who's responsible for that shit? Canadian political parties, Canadian politicians. I mean, starting from my journey from 1999, when I moved to Canada, the first thing I noticed, because we come from left-lean sort of a ideology as I moved from Pakistan, we assumed that it's a progressive way to live in Canada. When I saw NDP party, even in 1999, they had candidates who were Hamas supporters in 1999.
98, 99.
Yes, sir. And it was the Jan Christian government at the time. And I don't want to name that guy, not one guy, couple of candidates from NDP party, they were Hamas supporters. And I thought,
Oh, so the NDP have always had that disease. It did not take a
I
Jagmeet
don't
Singh.
know always, but at least I can tell you 1999 onward. You know, so I thought, oh gosh, I moved to Canada to live a Canadian life, and over here Islamism is thriving. And those were the days before 9/11. We need to keep this in mind. In 1999, and they were members of Hamas, in fact, and they were candidates from NDP party. Liberals were on those days relatively better. On those days, conservative, I mean, I'm talking about 1999, Mr. Harper was, I think, MP from Canadian Alliance.
Yes.
And Stockwell Day. These were the only two MPs from conservative. So on those days, I mean, liberals were ruling the country. So starting from there, as you asked me, why Canadian politicians and political parties are not taking action against racism. Racism revolves around three communities now. Jews, sadly and unfortunately, always they are the target of,
Yeah, they're the gold medalists.
you know. But the thing is, they are powerful enough in terms of their lobbying, in terms of their connections in the society, and they are also part of Judeo-Christian culture. So they somehow manage to retaliate directly or indirectly. And then I saw the days after 9/11 when Muslims were the targets.
Yes.
And Muslims were smart enough. They realized, okay, they filed lawsuit against Harper. I mean, Muslim organizations. Harper was prime minister after 2006, I think, onward. So they filed lawsuit against Harper. They filed lawsuit against many conservative politicians and so on. So they somehow managed to show their muscles and establish their strength in the society. They managed to counter hate against them. And then, as just Darshan Bhai mentioned, Motion 103 was tabled by MP Ikra Khalid. I opposed it. I formed a group against that motion, and Conservative Party supported me. And the same Conservative Party, after 2 or 3 years onward, they came on board with MP Ikra Khalid's Motion 103,
Right.
and they threw us under the bus right away, Conservative Party. They didn't care about, because we wanted to, Tariq Fatah, myself, and many of us, we wanted to live a Canadian life, quote unquote Canadian life, and no Canadian political party wanted us to live Canadian life.
So let me try and understand. The Conservative Party, who should have been at the forefront of fighting this in Canada, threw the good Muslims under the bus.
I will amplify that. Those who had voted against motion M103 later publicly apologized because they were running for the leadership of the Conservative Party. Beat this.
यार ये तो वाहियात लोग हैं. I'm sorry, I had to say this in our language.
Not only that, and now we see the racism, hate, Singh Horton, and we are eating.
And I'm purposely buying
We have kept
Tim
it, yeah, for that purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you have a problem with Indians working in Tim Hortons, I'll drink this every day.
So as I said, racism revolves around three communities. Jews are somehow able to manage that hatred against them. They are smart. They invest money. They have good lobby, and Muslims are powerful. And in that crossfire, we Indians, and especially Hindus and Sikhs thought, okay, we are the king of this country. But they didn't realize that the hate would target them. And now Tim Horton is not Tim Horton in Canadian internet landscape. It's a Singh Horton.
Yeah, so there are racist slurs like Singh Hortons, Timmigrants.
Yes.
Yeah, Timmigrants is being used.
Yes.
Obviously, the word Pajit was normalized by the Pakistanis and Bangladeshis, ably abetted. So now, what I have noticed is that at least in terms of social media hatred, under Jack Dorsey, Twitter had controlled it. Now, I had 1 million problems with Jack Dorsey. And this is not an endorsement of Jack Dorsey's censorship. He was censoring too. But the racists were completely kept under tabs there. Elon buys Twitter. He just unleashes the beast. He just unleashes the beast. And now there is big... You have to see a normal video of an Indian just doing nothing. So I'll give you an example of the recent case. I was just in New York City. Literally, I had gone to record a podcast with Akash Singh. So in the night, we were going around Times Square. I was staying in on Times Square. So we just went out and we were walking around, and I could see a truly global city. different groups performing. And I asked someone, I was like, so does this happen daily? They said every day some community or the other comes here and performs. Such is the level of Indian hatred. And I think it's monetized. That's why this is where Elon has messed up. He has monetized the blue tick. Now it has led to a tsunami of Indian hatred. So there is this handle. I don't want to give that handle any credence. So iske liye I'm not sharing it over here. But that handle shares a video of Indians just doing a Gujarati dance, Garba. Oh bhai, wo permission leke gaya udhar. It is encouraged in Times Square, in that area. You show your dance, and then they call everybody. Different communities come together and dance. I did not know dancing was a problem. And they're like, look at these Indians. Look at these Indians. Arey bhai, are you crazy? Today, anything an Indian does on the internet, just go and read the comments. It is clear bots amplifying hatred. And I'm saying this for the last 3 years. I've been telling people, bhai, ye bot hai. Don't engage. It's a bot. And now it is such that now the bot has seeped into the average user. Because the average... So let's talk about crime and data and statistics now, because it's very important.
Yeah.
And I want to say this very openly, not because Darshan bhai and you are friends. No. It is out of genuine love and respect for what you guys have done here. They would not have known immigration scams had it not been for Indians.
Yes.
I am saying this straight up on the record. None of these Muppets would have known anything had it not been for us.
Let me amplify that also. Yesterday, Senator Paula Simons published an article on the Hill Times that reducing international student numbers is bad. And then she cites when she went to Stanford University, how there was this different environment and what the international students contributed. And like, lady, there's a difference between Stanford University in California and Stanford College in Brampton. They are still defending the status quo. Right? So it's only people like Tahir bhai and myself and a few others who have exposed all the ugly details which no media or anybody else is willing to touch.
So and we are persona non grata.
Oh, yes. Yes. You should ask the people in the Conservative Party about me.
Unfortunately.
Oh my God, they love me. They love me in the Conservative Party. They are like, oh my God, this guy is like, we don't want to associate with him. But let's talk about this entire, international students exploitation now. And I want to show a few numbers here. And let's start by Kitchener-Conestoga, where Kitchener-Conestoga just updated their numbers that I think, how much has it dropped?
97%.
97% drop, right?
Oh my God.
So let's share this. So this is the important quote in the article. That's all I'm putting on the screen right now. I tweeted this. So it says it is trimming its payroll after doubling it over 6 years. A recent headcount found Kitchener-Conestoga has downsized by about 1,800 fewer faculty and staff compared to a year ago, including layoffs affecting 191 support staff positions in April. Labor turmoil has followed. Unionized support staff at Conestoga joined 23 other Ontario community colleges to go on strike. Keyword, community colleges. Keyword. So for Indians who don't understand what we are talking about, community colleges is where the scams happened.
Yes.
Universities are normal. They are normal. So what has happened is Kitchener-Conestoga, for the uninitiated, is somewhere in and around this vicinity. I mean, it's just
southwest.
Southwest, and yahan se 2 ghanta. I think
couple of hours. Yeah.
Couple of hours we drive, and that. So I'll tell you the story. Tahir bhai, आपको याद है वो last year आपने Burlington में जो event किया था?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so on that event, so there was this Gujarati gentleman with his wife. See, they are settled in Ontario for 10 years, I think. He had told me. So he came. He was a fan of the show, and he came. So he met me after the show, and he was like, "There is a storm coming." I was like, "What?" He was like, "Kushal bhai, there are so many Indian students here. Every day new restaurants are popping up just to cater to Indians.
Right.
This is a scam, Kushal bhai, and I am worried that this will come crashing down one day. And when it crashes, the whole economy of Kitchener-Conestoga will crash with it. And it has started to happen. These things are going to happen. And the sad part is, they keep hating Indians. Has anyone, given a thank you note to the exploited international students? That bhai, your economy, which was in doldrums, was basically propped up. The inevitable was propped up for 5 years. It was inevitable. This was, bad economic policies of Justin Trudeau started 10 years ago. Where, we have to go green, we have to go green. Bhaiya, tere paas tel hai, tu khadda khodna. Tu kai ko green kar raha hai apni ungli. So, they were going down the path. This was just, I am not justifying what he has done before somebody misunderstands me. I'm just saying you put a band-aid on a deep wound and delayed the inevitable by 4 to 5 years and just left it to Carney.
Just look at those 1,800 jobs at Conestoga. They were propped up by, signing up international students like crazy. Now, signing them up was bad. That's a separate discussion, And again, Stephen Punwasi, who ran for mayor of Toronto in 2022, he's the only one hammering on this, that the government of Canada spent $148 million touting these programs in India. That, hey, this is a great opportunity to, study, work, and live. That was the slogan.
Yeah, Stephen also did a great thread on the truckers.
Yes.
Fake licenses.
Yeah.
And right now we have this 180 odd licenses that have been cancelled in Ontario. The irony is, the dude who gave them in the first place is cancelling them now.
And they were on the road.
Yeah.
Nitin has done good coverage of it, Nitin Chopra.
Yeah.
He's done good. Again, an Indian is covering it. Abe salo.
No, see, you need to understand from the inside what this is. An outsider cannot, right? Can, but the probability is lower.
Yeah, and I genuinely followed Nitin's coverage of this issue. He had that fantastic interview of the whistleblower who was like, listen, this is happening. Then the fake asylum. Now let's spend some time. Okay. I know you visit India regularly, but you're from the region. You are from India, but left India a long time ago. On a very serious, how the hell can Indian claim asylum status?
There's no way.
I mean, how can an Indian say they're oppressed? Okay, I get India has shitty speech laws. Nobody will say it more than I do. I mean, I know one day even I might end up in jail in India, but I will still not say I'm oppressed in India. I know I can pick up my phone and yell at my politician in India.
Yeah, you can say whatever.
I can. I know I can. Today in Ladakh, people just burnt down the BJP office. So don't say people are oppressed in India. Why? Who was the one who was saying asylum is a scam? Indians were. Now the same racist puts it against us and says, why are you claiming asylum? Abhe jab main bol raha tha to sun kyun nahi rehte tum log? So I don't understand. Who was the person who exposed the hijacking of primaries in Canada? Balraj Deo.
Yes.
A freaking Indian. He said all 3 parties are being hijacked. Please stop. Nobody listens. Just today, I want to show you something. I posted this today. आज मैंने पोस्ट किया दिल्ली का वीडियो.
Right.
और मैं आपको कल की भी लाइन का वीडियो डालूंगा, वो कल डालूंगा मैं. This is for the last 2 days of what's happening in Delhi. I just wanted to let people know how much this scam is going on. So these videos are from outside the embassy of Greece. Video. Okay. These lines never existed outside the embassy of Greece.
Right.
Never. This is one day, okay? Now I will show you the same spot the next day. You know there is a disproportionate number of Punjabis there. You know it. Now the next day. Again. Now I'll show you tomorrow also. Sitting in Canada, I can cover this. Indian journalists refuse to.
Right.
Yeah, dekho. This is from the next day. Look at the disproportionate number of Punjabis. They can't exploit Canada. The immigration touts have moved to Greece
Right.
and other countries.
Right.
I already have a journalist friend in Greece who I have warned.
Right.
He covers these things. So he will look into it and we will nip it in the bud now. Why? Because already Punjabis have been scammed over here in Canada.
Yes.
Why do you want to scam Punjabis again in Greece? Like, again, it is an Indian exposing this. I, an Indian passport holder, am exposing a scam happening right in front of our eyes. But still, the racism comes towards us. What do we do about this racism now? That's my question. To first you and then you.
Right. You know, in terms of countering racism against us, we need to obviously work very hard, and we need to understand as well, because we are emotional people. Bharti background, we are very emotional people, and we get sort of attracted towards sometime right-wing ideologies, sometime left-wing ideology. But we need to create a lobbying system for us. And our community business people, they are resourceful, they are rich, and they think they live in an isolation. No, they are target of this racism as well. As I mentioned earlier, I give credit to Jews and Muslims both, honestly, because they defend themselves. That's the only way. That's the only way you can save your face. So we Indians need to invest, and we need to do lobby. We need to press politicians, and we need to create our nuisance. Until unless we don't have our sort of a fear. I mean, like, if Canadian system does not realize that if they would go against us and we'll not retaliate, then they'll not care about us. Simple.
And honestly, I have no grouse against the liberal. I criticize the liberal.
Right.
Darshan bhai, with what face is the conservative talking about the temporary foreign worker program? Has any conservative leader had the guts to stand up and condemn the racism against Indians anywhere? Has any Canadian mainstream politician come out?
No, they haven't. Actually, a couple of days I asked Michelle Rempel on her, good morning, we are going to win tweet. Would you mind explaining to us what was the rationale for you voting yes for motion M44? Of course, she doesn't reply.
Right.
The good news is that she didn't block me, but
I'm blocked.
Right. But see, there are a couple of major factors at play, Kushalji. The first, and for that I blame the Indian/Hindu community, is that we are not united. Now, Tahir bhai will say that even the Jews have enough differences among themselves and the Muslims too, but that is at a different level. When it comes to fortifying the position of their religious community, they speak from one page.
You are right.
Right. So we don't have that. And one major factor in that is the whole Khalistan issue, where two major groups from India are not seeing eye to eye, right? The Khalistanis and the remaining Indians, right? That is one. And the second part of it is that you have to work on creating a positive image. I might have given this example earlier, but in 2014, when there was that fire in Fort McMurray and the whole town had to be evacuated, there was a CBC report about the Sikh community in BC and Alberta organizing, uniting, collecting donations, all the necessities of life. And then the truckers who were also Sikh, they dropped everything that they had and did all these trips to, bring the relief supplies to the affected. The same thing was done by Haveli Temple in Toronto. but nobody knows about it. You have to beat your drum a little bit, you have to show, and then genuinely you have to do certain activities. Like every time I talk to these groups, I tell them, have you ever conducted a blood donation camp in a mall? Then people will see what you are doing. It is not just to create optics, it is to do something where people know that you are not just takers here in this country. Because that is one of the points that a lot of people make, and not all of them may be racist, although majority are, that you have come here to take what Canada had to offer. No, you have to show that we are giving back to the community, right? In the hour of need, let us say in the winter, there is a drive to collect blankets and jackets for the homeless, or food banks, etc.
And we have a food bank that does a fantastic job.
Yes,
Saidam food bank,
Saidam and few other as
few
well.
others, yes, right. So that has to be made more widely known. I will tie that to Tahir Bhai's point, which is that you need those connections in the media where they will pick up your story and highlight it.
No, so I'll give you an example of the problem, Darshan bhai. Canada India Foundation does an annual golf tournament in which donations are given to the Canadian Army vets and the Indian Army vets, both. Even this year, I went there. I clearly saw, I shared the video, I covered it. Canada India Foundation reached out to every single mainstream Canadian media outlet. We are doing this, please come and cover it. Believe me, nobody came. Nobody came.
Because, sorry to interrupt you, because Canada India Foundation officials don't have good relation with the media. Unless you have no good network, you can't attract them.
And it's fascinating because I covered it in my capacity as a media representative. I went there, I covered the event, I spoke about it. I know many such events where I go, I cover them, I talk about it. If Tahir Bhai tells me to come, I go there, I cover it, I talk about it. Clearly, there is a genuine failure from the Indian community side that all the good work that the Indians do, like, I think people don't realize how many jobs Indians have generated in Canada. With due respect to the people who are mad at the Indians, I'm like, if you send them back, do you have any idea how much, like these morons in the United States of America too, the groypers as they're called, the MAGA bit, the Vignats and the groypers, they're crazy. Hindus in America or Indians in America are less than 1.5% of the American population. FYI, they pay 6% of their income tax. Yo, you send them back, you're screwed.
Yeah.
But how can they send them back?
They can't. That's a different issue. Secondly, in Canada, if you look at, again, high income communities, it's the Indian, damn it. Like, where does the resentment come? Like, you can blame them. Okay, I understand. Like, who was the one who criticized the Dundas firework tamasha last year? You, me, Tahir Bhai, all of us criticized it. We were the ones who said, "Inko band karo." Okay? You remember the Westwood Mall day last Diwali? Who complained? Indians went and complained. When it comes to random people breaking certain norms, Indians go and complain. Now, if the Brampton mayor refuses to act, Patrick has blocked me, by the way. Patrick, because I questioned Patrick, and we all know Khalistanis operate Patrick's account. I know who is the Khalistani also. So, khotya main tenu janta wahan. Okay. So, they block me. They do all kinds of nonsense. And now, it has come to a point where, why are you building a 100-foot statue? I mean, there is a famous scene in Kishan Kanhaiya, an old movie, where Anil Kapoor plays a double role. So, one Anil Kapoor is the meek. I think it is Kishan that is the meek, and Kanhaiya is thoda aggressive. So, when Kanhaiya and Kishan meet finally, Kanhaiya says, "Ab tu meri jagah rahe, I am going to be Kishan and go." So, Dalip Tahil is the cousin who bullies Kishan a lot. And one day in the morning, he says, "Chal, mere ko ye kar." And Kanhaiya, who's pretending to be Kishan in a very nice way, "Kya main tere baap ka naukar hu?" I think it is time for our community to tell them.
I'll tell you one thing, and I'll give reference to another great movie, very successful movie, Amar Akbar Anthony, where at one point Amitabh Bachchan says, ऐसा तो आदमी लाइफ में 2 ही टाइम भागता है, ओलंपिक का रेस हो या पुलिस का केस हो. And for the benefit of the English speaking audience, I'll translate it, that the only 2 times when a man runs this hard is either when it's an Olympic race or a police case. So there has to be motivation either in the form of benefiting from something or avoiding a catastrophe.
Right.
Yeah.
We have to provide that to the media.
Yeah.
If you avoid us, then it will be bad for you.
Yeah.
And if you cover our event, then you will benefit. That depends on building up a strength where the other party understands that these are the 2 alternatives I am facing. That has to be done.
Yeah, and to generalize an entire community is just so gross and so racist. Listen, if you need a job, just ask nicely. I am saying this now as an Indian.
Right.
Just ask nicely, I'll get you a job. And this has to be told to the racist now. भाई काम चाहिए तो सलीके से पूछना, ये भी कोई भीख मांगने का तरीका है.
But that's the ground reality now. The ground reality is if
Yes.
you do not accommodate others, they will bully you. So, I mean, the onus is on community as well. I'll say this again and again. Community has to create good network within media, within policymakers, within academia, within intelligentsia, within law enforcement agencies, and where our Bharati community fails. Simply, we need to work together.
Yes.
We need to come up with some strategy. We need to learn from our quote unquote opponents, or at least our fellow communities, that how do they make connections with the larger system, and how do they retaliate when they face racism. We don't want to learn.
Sir, they sue the pants out of these people.
Of course.
I mean, for all the things the Khalistanis have said, the Khalistanis came after you too. They came after Terry Milevsky. They came after now MP, but at that time he was not an MP, Shubhalay Majumdar. The Khalistanis have done it. The Islamists came after you. They filed lawsuits against you.
Absolutely.
And that's how they tried to shut you up. But they can't shut everyone up. They couldn't shut Terry Milevsky up. And Terry still speaks about it. And all power to people like Terry Glavin, Terry Milevsky, Kim Bolan. They sued Kim Bolan. And by the way, in that case, they did shut her up for a while. Now Kim's back. And Kim's talking again. But now look, they can't shut Sanjay Lazar up. They can't, right? Sanjay speaks. So we have to learn the art. Like, we have to sue them. If you are going to be non-factual and a racist piece of living shit, I'm going to sue your pants off now, because I've had it up to here now. But like, arey bhai, mera mandir, if make a law, you cannot have more than 10-foot idols. We will follow it. You made a law that allowed. Now you say, why are you doing it? Oh, you are marking your territory. Marking your territory. अबे मैं थोड़ा ना डॉगी हूँ जो सुसु करके अपनी टेरिटरी मार्क कर रहा हूँ. क्या मतलब बकवास चालू है यार? What nonsense is going on? And let us talk about this. There is this new shagufa about Indian areas crime. So let's talk about it. Again, for the benefit of everyone, these are the top 20 cities of crime in Canada. Surrey, Kelowna, Sudbury, Oshawa, Winnipeg, Sault Ste. Marie, Hamilton, Brampton, Kamloops, London, Nanaimo, Regina, Saskatoon, Moncton, St. Catharines, Edmonton, Windsor, Ontario, Mississauga, Toronto, Vancouver. These are the top 20 places in Canada where crime is at their highest. All right. Now, I want each and every one of you to go and look at the demographics of, other than Surrey and Brampton, every other place barely has Indians. They are there, but they are not statistically that significant. All communities across Canada are committing crimes. Now, I'll give you another example of how human biases work. And shame on the police system of Canada, they are also falling for clickbait. So let me explain. In Mississauga, crimes are committed daily. 48% of Mississauga's population, we are sitting in Mississauga right now, is white. Are we saying in a city where 48% of the population is white, we can't find one crime committed by those people? One crime? Show me the police ever highlighting it on their social media.
Yes.
I'm saying something very sensitive, but I have to say it. Somebody has to say it. Let me be the jackass who says it. Because, and I'm not saying I'm not accusing them of racism. I'm accusing them of falling for social media clickbaitism. Everybody is, even the police is now. They have to be sensitive to their social media strategy. I am the first one who pointed out that we had a problem inside our community and the Khalistanis are peddling drugs and all sorts of things. I exposed it, but it didn't mean that they were the only ones committing crimes in Canada. You jackasses, even you look at Stats Canada right now, less than 1% are Hindu and Sikh. They are the least criminally minded communities of Canada, even after this mess of mass immigration. Most of them came and just worked in a Tim Hortons. Worst case scenario, they only did a work in the Tim Hortons. And all these 20 cities that I have shown. And now the irony, people say wherever Indians increase, crime increases. Now let us do a comparison of Surrey and Brampton. Surrey has more white people. Brampton has less white people. Brampton has way more Indians than Surrey. Surrey has way more crime than Brampton. Why? Has anybody done a serious study? The criminals there are Khalistanis. I am willing to admit. Khalistanis, Islamists, it's the same nexus. But the point is that it has nothing to do with the race, the color. Like Kelowna, वहां पे कौन से इंडियन रहते हैं भाई? मैनिटोबा, कौन से इंडियन रहते हैं उधर?
Relatively less number.
अरे एडमिंटन, क्या इंडियन रहते? अरे 1-2% तो हर जगह होंगे, मगर is it 30%, 40% like in Brampton and Surrey? No, it is not. It is not. So why are we not? Why only Surrey and Brampton are discussed in the top? In the top 10, Brampton is number 9, Surrey is number 1. Number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. What about them? I want to talk about them now. Let's talk about them. Why are Tahir, why you have been a seasoned Canadian journalist? Why do you think we don't discuss about crimes in the other 8?
Yeah, because we don't raise our issues. I mean, I'm emphasizing over and over that onus is on our community. Until unless we don't create optics in terms of defending ourselves in the society, no one is going to give us free pass.
Agree.
You know, so onus is on us. I mean, we are unable to market us. We are unable to tell our contribution in the society. And now, I mean, as you are mentioning, because mainstream thinks, okay, brown man is fighting with brown man, it's their problem, and we'll target all brown men.
Yeah.
You know, so the thing is, even who are fighting with the Hindus, let's say they are Khalistanis or extreme Islamists, they are a target of racism as well now. Everyone is a target of racism, and this is coming from the US as well.
The biggest proof of racism in Canada is that every month 4 students international students have been committing suicides for years. And the Canadian political class or the media class barely talks about it. If they're just like they ignored the Air India bombing, because most of the people who died in the Air India bombing were brown people. And let me be categorical here, like Sanjay says it very clearly. Sanjay is the most non-racist person you will find in your life. Sanjay lost his entire family in that freaking bomb. He lost his entire... people don't understand the trauma Sanjay has gone through. They don't understand, like, you are 17, your life is destroyed, and Sanjay एक ऐसा गट्सी आदमी, वो तो सीधा हर पर के पहुंच गया था. All of you did not do this because all these people are brown. If these were white people, you would have done it. And forget, Terry Milewski in his book has written this.
Right.
In his book, Terry Milewski wrote this, that if these people are white, it would not have taken so long for the justice. And this is the same story happening. अब मैं आपको बताता हूँ. And let me put this on record. मुझे ऐसा सुनने में आया है कि near the Scarborough Gurdwara, I am stating this. This is what I have heard. I'm confirming this through my sources right now. There are 3 houses near the Scarborough Gurdwara that are owned by a Punjabi. And there are more than 40 to 45 women staying in that house. 3 houses, paying $350 a month rent for sexual favors. I am stating this.
And who's the culprit? Not the white person here.
No. And if I am able, even if I do the entire sting operation and I take it to the mainstream media in Canada, I'm putting this on record, nobody will carry it. Only our local media outlets will carry it. If I go to you, to Nitin, to Samir Kushal in British Columbia, usko itni maar padi bichare ko Samir ko. The Khalistanis beat him black and blue. He still goes in and does his work at a grave danger to his personal life. Rishi Nagar got beaten up black and blue. Tara Singh Hair lost his life. Balraj Dayal almost died. How many more do they want to show? Tell me one person who has, other than Terry Milevsky, Terry Glavin, Kim Bolan. These are the 3 people I have deep respect for. Deep respect for. But tell me which mainstream Canadian journalist has ever done. Stuart Bell does all that nonsense. He is studying. Just because the Indian media broke the Inderjeet Gosal arrest news before him, he's like, oh, you said Oshawa ki jagah Ottawa. Arey bhai, this is strawman fact checking. Talk about why Inderjeet Gosal is, why are you hailing him as an activist? He's an activist. बंदूकें लगा था ढाया 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 करके घूम रहा है वो. ये activist है. But why are these things not being highlighted? Like, how, if the Canadian media is not going to listen to us beyond a point, so what do we do then?
Let me give you another example. The Ghost College.
Yes. अरे वो बताइए, कहानी बताओ आप सबको, वो आपने ब्रेक की थी वो स्टोरी.
Right. So somebody sent me a message saying that a student has come from India and he has an admission, of course, to a college and therefore a visa, and can't find the college. So the website has an address, but at that address there is nothing. The address was of Canada Place, so very prominent, high profile address, and there is nothing like that. So the student approached CBC, and CBC said you have to go on record. The student was afraid that he might get deported, so he said, I can't go on record, you have to keep me anonymous. CBC said we cannot report on something on anonymous sources. Like, okay, aren't you doing it every day? This was just a convenient excuse for them to avoid reporting.
The story.
Right? Because they know this is an area they are not supposed to touch. So this message came to me saying, can you look into this? So I tossed it out on Twitter. The college's website disappeared from the internet because my tweet blew up absolutely. So they must have noticed the website disappeared. Then a couple of days later, it came back with a different address. Now, I knew somebody in Vancouver. Now, this was still in Vancouver. So I knew somebody in Vancouver. I said, hey, can you check? So they went there, and there was no name like that at that address. Then a few months later, I was in Vancouver. So I went there. There was another college at that address. I said, hey, I have someone in India who wants to apply to this college. So can you explain it to me? And they said, yeah, they get admission to that college, they attend classes in this college, and then we graduate them to Capilano University. And okay, so where is their premises? No, they don't have premises. So I wrote to the Minister of Colleges and Minister of Education of British Columbia. And I said, I'm concerned about the well-being of international students because they are apparently enrolling in a college that doesn't seem to exist. So they took 1 month to reply, and they said, now the college has shifted to Surrey and this is the address. Now, CBC, with all its power, all its funding, all its kind of immunity from frivolous lawsuits, right? Nobody will touch them unless they have a serious case. They refuse to touch the story. Why? Like every day you will find on their website stories that are based on anonymous sources to protect the privacy or whatever of the source.
Yeah, obviously the
Right?
government of the day
Yeah,
wanted these colleges to exist.
exactly.
And we, the people of India, have to
The problem
bear
is
the brunt.
this. The problem is this, and coming, looping this to the issue of racism. All these colleges were authorized by the various governments of the provinces, right? The visas were issued by federal government. The students were ripped off. They also scammed, and they came here. Now their target is to work somewhere because they are
Yeah,
basically from poor families. So now the LMIA sale starts,
yeah, these are all second order effects.
right? So it's people like me who are hammering every day on Twitter about this scam, that
Yeah,
scam.
imagine $36 an hour driving guy. Why would you need an LMIA for that? Like, you can't find a driver in Canada.
You can't find a window installer in Surrey, for example, right? This is a case I have posted about. But the point being that the government, the executive, all the institutions of the establishment are turning a blind eye to this. And every customer facing position, you find an 18 or 20-year-old Indian boy or girl who has no familiarity with Canadian culture. They have no familiarity or exposure to any part of Western culture. Going back couple of 100 years, that much of culture, they have absolutely no idea. They are thrust in a position out of need. That is the only recourse they have, and now there is friction. They don't know, the local norms of greeting people, or certain levels of cleanliness, and number of things. All that starts to matter when economic times are bad.
Yes.
I was just listening to radio on the way in, and somebody was talking about Sam the Record Man, or there was some kind of a store in the days of long play records, and it became an iconic institution in Toronto. Other than a thriving economy, you also need those items of national pride. What is something of national pride that was created in the last 20 years? Tell me, in Canada. We have no economic progress. We have nothing exciting happening anywhere in the country. The iconic institutions that we had, which people had built up with so much effort, are collapsing because times have changed. What have we created in the new era?
Are we a country?
Right? So all that frustration comes out on this Indian boy or girl because the customer is fed up. They can't understand the accent. That poor fellow doesn't have proper grasp of English. They are struggling to express themselves. It has happened to me. I think this was 3-4 years ago. A friend of mine who is a Punjabi, we went to Tim Hortons and we were about to tell the girl what we wanted, and another girl came and started talking to her in Punjabi, and then there was a conversation going on. So this friend of mine said, "Oh, could you let her do her work?" She doesn't know. She has not been trained in that, right? She comes from a different cultural paradigm. So all that frustration comes out on every Indian. When I say that this is a scam going on, somebody will pop up in the replies saying,
Go back to India.
"No, you also have to go back. We will send you back." Like, who's we? You are using an anonymous handle here. Who's we?
Yeah, we show our faces. What do you do?
Right? So that's basically the crux of the racism.
Yeah, and the economy is completely down in the shitter. There is no doubt about it. But like, I have to share this so that people don't think that I was making that Surrey and Brampton thing up. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the comparison: Surrey and Brampton. Enjoy the carnage. And I want you to watch this. ये देखो. जिस ब्रैम्पटन को लोग इतना खराब बोलते हैं, ब्रैम्पटन is actually having more Indians and less crime. More Indians and less crime. And I want this to be remaining on the record for people, because I've had it up to here. But look, I mean, if they want Indians to go back, right, I don't care. They can say what they want to say. Just a couple of days ago, this is ambassador to India and Bhutan. the German ambassador,
Hmm.
look what he's saying. He's saying, here's my call to highly skilled Indians.
Hmm.
Germany stands out with its stable migration policies and with great job opportunities for Indians in IT, management, science, and tech. Find your way to Germany to boost your career.
And even Chinese have offered them
Boss,
through
let me
UK visa.
let me put this on record. India has 1.4 to 1.5 billion people.
Hmm.
In a country of 1.4 to 1.5 billion people, you will find morons.
Hmm.
The Canadian superpower was to attract all the morons in one place.
Yes.
Indians in America are a very different story. There is genuine jealousy. कि भाई ये तो कहाँ से कहाँ पहुँच गए हैं. And the Vivek tweet, although I kind of was laughing and chuckling, Ramaswamy की बात कर रहा था.
Right.
Vivek's tweet last time, it was like, भाई काम करो ना, क्या कर रहे हो तुम लोग? Like Vivek was like, कुछ काम तो करते नहीं हो तुम लोग.
Yeah.
So, Vivek, high school debater, won everything in life. Poor guy had to be thrown out of MAGA for just stating the quiet part out loud. And there are brilliant Indians over there. Now all this H1B nonsense that has come against the community. Arey bhai, yes, you might find the odd case of H1B being abused. I can guarantee you, if the H1B is stopped, it's only the Americans who are going to suffer. The Indians are not going to suffer. Over a period of time, these jobs will just go to Dubai, London, by the way, Toronto. Yes, it will come to London, Ontario से लेकर ये पूरा जो हमारा region है. I can guarantee a lot of jobs will come here. So actually Canadians should be like, please shut the H1Bs. We want them here. And a bunch. So get ready. Those really good Indians will come if you shut the H1B program in America down. Because America sucks them all in. All you look at IIT. IIT के top rankers जो होते हैं, every single American institution is sitting right outside. It's like, ये कौन है? इसको उठा. Luckily now Indians don't leave India. Even the high-end Indians now tend to stay in India. Because they get like 1 crore, 1.5 crore, 2 crore starting salary jobs also over there. So why would they want to leave? I mean, yeah, bad urban infrastructure, they don't give a shit. The maids cover up for most of the problems in life.
Yes.
So I'm being just brutally honest here.
And more saving.
Yeah, and they make shitloads of money there. So a lot of Indians don't leave India now. The problem here is that we have kind of mixed our priorities. Like now Canada says कि हमको ये नहीं चाहिए, हमको वो नहीं चाहिए. My question to all Canadians is, be careful what you wish for. Now, see, वो Game of Thrones की line थी दर्शन भाई क्या? Winter is coming. Basically, they keep throwing all these names and they say absurd things. But I looked at some of the stats over here. There was a very interesting stats shared by this gentleman about real estate rates. This graph is worth its weight in gold. This was basically condo prices, and this is condo prices, and boy, we have a carnage coming up in Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, it is carnage. It's so wonderful to watch. Just look at this graph, sir.
New condo price adjusting to resale.
Yeah.
This is Darshan bhai, I told you on phone.
Yeah.
ये बर्बाद होने वाली है real estate इधर.
Yeah.
Look at the fall, Darshan bhai. Look at the rates.
Yeah.
The rates. So you start looking at where the fall has come down to. We have still not reached a certain point, but this is a serious destruction.
Yeah.
Tahir bhai, you are much more aware of the real estate scenario.
Oh my God, it's horrible.
So can you talk about it? Like there are, this myths that we need to halt immigration to zero. I mean, we need to reduce immigration is the word.
Right.
Don't halt it, boss. There is carnage.
I disagree.
Temporarily आप reduce कर सकते हो, halt कर सकते हो.
10 साल.
Because
10 years.
This is carnage now.
See, that will have to happen. It's like a withdrawal symptom.
Lot of people will lose jobs.
Yeah, I mean the real estate.
That's why I read that article from Conestoga where the unionized people are like, उनकी फट रही है कि हमारा job जाने वाला है. The report is 10,000 to 16,000 jobs in the education sector are going to go just in Ontario.
Yeah, but what kind of education was it? All sorts of bogus programs. Right?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
See, or either these were bogus programs, or if they were genuine programs, then you had overcapacity. Overcapacity cannot be propped up by artificial demand. Kids are graduating, coming out of college and not getting a job. 22% unemployment rate. You need a major realignment. Unfortunately, we don't have deep thinkers in Canada, so nobody thinks about it.
Well, they know.
See, a few days ago, I came across this case. There is this prominent guy, I won't name him, but he has been hammering against Indians on Twitter every day. And then he said that in my town of 8,000, there are all the retail places employing Indians, and you don't find any white person there. So I checked with someone who lives in that area. And they told me that it's a real problem because the housing cost is such that it would consume, if you are on minimum wage, it would consume 75% to 100% of your income on rent. Which means that the economic equation of that town is fundamentally broken. What I am getting for what I am providing to the economy doesn't get me enough remuneration to be a consumer. I'm a producer, but my remuneration is not enough to be a consumer. So your short-term, solution is to bring people from abroad who are willing to live in substandard conditions.
Yeah, they can share an apartment.
Right.
6 people can.
Yeah,
live.
6 people can share an apartment.
Yeah.
So that is not a solution because your fundamental economic equation is broken. That has to be fixed. Right. So that's why I'm saying it is going to be painful. It's going to be horrible. I don't like saying this. Maybe I'll be affected by it. But that is the only true medicine, is to reset the economic equation to a reasonable level.
I think, see, this is where you and I will disagree. I think this is a problem of isko bolte lump of labor fallacy, that the economy only has a finite number and the jobs have to move around in that. And this is a debate that has gone on a long time between economists on how do we do it. Like, I'll give you another example. So this is also happening at the same time. This was also reported that GTA new home sales in August 2025 remained at rock bottom levels. Edward Jegg, research manager at Altus Group, said new launches in particularly high-rise projects over the past 12 months have been at a record low, and at the same time completions have reached a record high. The 118 condos sold marked a downturn of 59% from August 2024, the report said, and was 90% below the 10-year average. As for the 182 single-family homes sold, the report said that was a dip of 21% from the same time last year and a 59% drop from the 10-year average. So there is clearly now the disproportionate availability in the market has been pretty much fixed now. Now, I'm not saying get 1 million people in. No, I'm not saying that. Before somebody misunderstands me, we should have never started to get more than 200,000 people ever, because our capacity in Canada is 224,000. So we should have kept it below. We would have actually managed things much better. But from 1 million, making it zero will create another destruction. I'm just saying we have to phase it out. That's the only difference you and I have. Because if we make it zero, okay, these students will go back.
Not all, but
I think because it will be so hard to live here, Tahir, they are not going back because they have. The only reason they are going back is because this has become a bad option. Let's be very clear.
Yeah.
They are going back because this is a bad option. Only reason. I mean, I have shared emails with you of that boy, you remember, who was working in a tech job, and then he was so hardworking. It was like, I came here, I'm going to work hard. In the night, he used to work at a Tim Hortons. Then he saw everything on the internet. It had such a drastic mental effect on him. He's like, am I doing something wrong? And I had to, I felt so bad when I heard that boy. He's like, what do I do? I was like, you do 3 jobs if you have to. I'm sorry, you don't have to apologize for efficiency in life. I will never apologize for being better than someone in my life. And if you feel you can do a job better than me, do it. You feel your politicians are doing wage cutting through immigration, tell your politicians to stop it. You cannot blame the person of why he is working for 20. My problem stems there. We can have a debate on the numbers of immigration. I believe that Canada is going to suffer grossly, because the first step of being bad in policy making is knee-jerk reactions.
True.
Halting, opening the floodgates was a knee-jerk reaction to COVID, because they thought nobody is going to work, so let's flood the market with people. And obviously there were vested interests involved who were human trafficking. Now I am afraid that the knee-jerk reaction is going to be closing the door forever, and this is going to crash the market. And I fear for Canadians.
Yes.
My fear is for Canadians. They didn't deserve what happened in 22, 23, 24. They don't deserve what's going to happen in 25, 26, 27. I think a lot of, with due respect to near retirement age or retired Canadians, they don't understand that young people will suffer the most.
Yes.
Yeah.
They might be like, चल मेरी तो जिंदगी हो गई, बंद कर दे. अबे बंद कर दे तो ये जो क्रिएटेड बिजनेसेस हैं वो भी बंद हो जाएंगे. उनको धीरे धीरे बंद करो, एक झटके में बंद हुए. Because the economy is never key. For example, this microphone, right? We have this microphone here. The spring manufacturer is someone else. The screw manufacturer is someone else. The rod manufacturer is someone else. The person who makes the paint is someone else. The person who makes the electronics is someone else. Now, I had a single spring manufacturing factory. Then mass immigration happened. Now the artificial requirement of springs increased. Now I increased my capacity. Now I have too many springs flying with me. I am the original Canadian. Now I will suffer. We have to be very careful. मैंने आपको याद है, मैंने last year भी आपको बोला था, we have to be very careful what we wish for. अगर पूरा ताला बंद कर दिया, मेरे को बहुत बड़ा डर है कि अगेन मरेगा इसमें कैनेडियन ही मरेगा, क्योंकि you could end up being right, and I'm very open. This is, a very open discussion we are having. We are all on the same side. But the point is, I am shitting bricks for the university system of Canada. Tahir bhai, I came here in 2001. My fees was 3 to 4 times higher than an average Canadian.
Right.
We have been bailing out international students, not Indians. International students have been bailing out the university system of the world for the last 3 decades. Last 3 decades. This stoppage is going to collapse the university system. Are Canadians ready for higher fees is my question.
No.
Then what do we do? अब मैं आपको बताता हूँ. दर्शन भाई, आपको याद है जब मेरी ANI पॉडकास्ट हुई थी अजय बिसारिया के साथ, आपने मेरे को मैसेज किया था, मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि अजय जी कैनेडियन है और आप और आप दूसरी साइड में हो, जबकि अजय जी इंडियन है और आप कैनेडियन, और आप बोल रहे हो कोई नहीं. मैंने भी आपके जैसे ही, तभी याद है आपको, मैंने बोला था किसी को भी नहीं आना चाहिए इंडिया में. बट देन आई रियलाइज, एम आई बीइंग फेयर टू कनाडा? एम आई? क्योंकि मैं तो बोल दूं कोई भी नहीं आओ कनाडा में जोश में आकर, तभी मैंने गुस्से में बोल दिया, और यहाँ की पूरी इकोनॉमी बर्बाद हो जाए. एम आई बीइंग फेयर टू कनाडा, अ कंट्री दैट हैज बीन नाइस टू मी? तो इसके ऊपर वी हैव टू बी वेरी सेंसिबल इन आवर डिस्कशन, क्योंकि क्या ये इकोनॉमी गिराने का भी दोष इंडियंस पे ला देते ये लोग?
नहीं, लेकिन ये है कि इज कनाडा वेलकमिंग टू न्यू इमिग्रेंट्स? कनाडा इज एट दिस मोमेंट,
वैसे ही लोग नहीं आने वाले, वो अलग बात है.
Canada at this moment is not welcoming even to those people who are new Canadians.
Yes.
So that
what
is
do we do?
I mean, as Indo-Canadians or as Indo-Americans, we have to work for betterment of our countries, which are of course Canada and United States of America. And of course, when we like to invite more immigrants, as Darshan Bhai said. We have to figure out, are we welcoming for new guests?
So, Darshan bhai, here's my question to you. Why can't we go back to the Harper immigration system? If you have a master's or a PhD, you're welcome. Not gender studies PhD, like STEM PhD. Okay, but the problem, आप मुझे बोलोगे यहाँ पे कोई STEM के jobs नहीं है तो बुलाएगा कैसे?
Yeah. See, let's not look at the job scenario for a moment and look at the infrastructure scenario. It is so hopelessly out of balance that you have to first find a way to bring that back in balance. Where is housing? For all the charts that you will show me, I'll tell you where is the affordability. Right? You can show me chart going through the floor. My question remains, where is the affordability?
Right.
Healthcare, okay, infrastructure, roads are jam-packed. Every time I drive in Brampton,
anywhere,
it hits me
in Ontario,
that the lowest per capita productivity in G7 is in Canada, and within that Brampton probably has the dubious distinction of having lowest per capita productivity in Canada, and the roads are jam-packed. So what is being produced with all this traffic? That is my question every day. So you have overloaded infrastructure, overloaded healthcare. Schools don't have enough rooms. They are putting up kids in portables, right? So as long as you don't address that imbalance, job scenario comes later.
Yeah.
So basically, you'll have to temporarily stop for 2-3 years, let things come back to normal, achieve a baseline, and then gradually open it.
And make sure that everyone who is on non-permanent visa here, they can stay here only if there is a very strong need. This fabricated need of LMIA selling and going undocumented and hoping for amnesty, in future years, all that has to be tackled.
And by the way, I am observing this reality for the past 25 years. Canada basically needs Uber driver, laborer, rather than, manager.
True.
Or high-tech people.
Welcome to Canada. We need Uber drivers.
Pizza drivers are welcomed here.
Tahir bhai, मजाक नहीं कर रहा हूँ.
No, this is reality.
No, it's
मेरा
true.
सगा भाई, मैं तो हंसी छूट गई थी मेरा सगा भाई मॉन्ट्रियल से फ्लाई कर रहा था वापस अमेरिका.
Right.
And he tells me, ये मेरा कैब ड्राइवर PhD है. क्या तेरा कैब ड्राइवर PhD है?
Yeah.
I have driven cab, and once a client asked me, "What did you study?" I said, "I had MBBS degree, but I'm proud cab driver." Because Canada needs cab driver. Canada does not need a writer. Canada does not need a doctor.
Yeah. No,
They welcome you as cab driver. And I ran a small limousine company, and still my customers from my Burlington, they were my friends, and emailed me and said, "We love you to have you as a limousine driver, not as a writer."
See, this is not a knowledge-based society. I have come to that conclusion, and it was. See, I keep going back to this example of Elijah McCoy from 1860s, a black Canadian who was an inventor. Those were the days of mechanical machinery, and the moving parts had to be lubricated. So he invented a drip cup. That was just one of his inventions. He invented a drip cup that would drip the lubricating oil at the right rate, right? And it became so popular that fakes started coming out in the market, counterfeits, and therefore people started asking, is this the real McCoy? That's where the expression comes from. Drip cup has gone into history, but the expression survives. He even contributed to English language.
Ghana bhi tha real McCoy, I think.
Sorry?
Ghana bhi tha ek aisa.
Yeah, the real McCoy, right? Or go back to the early part of 20th century when Frederick Banting invented insulin. Around the same time, I'm forgetting the name, could be McNaughton, but right now it is the location of Sanofi at Steeles and Dufferin in Toronto, where he invented vaccine concomitantly with Louis Pasteur in France, right? Or the latest example was BlackBerry in the early 2000s, right? After Second World War, we had the third largest navy in the whole world. See, initially in our talk, I said that you need things that capture public imagination.
सर अभी तो बॉम्ब थ्रेट आता है तो अमेरिका से प्लेन आता है बचाने,
right? So this was at one point of time just like all the other Western countries, Germany or England or USA. This was a knowledge based society, but it gradually stopped being so, and therefore you only need manual labor. I have met a guy who in his teens worked as a manager of McDonald's, and he had on his staff a doctor from somewhere in India flipping burgers.
I'm not talking about immigrants from South Asia or Middle East. I remember many years back, a fellow of mine, he was from Siberia, Western culture, quote unquote. He was a very prominent writer in Siberia. And him and I moved to Canada on the same timeline. And once he was having coffee with me in early 2000, he said, no one gives a damn to us as writers in Canada. They only want us to work as a laborer in factory or drive a cab. And he said that driving a cab and even delivering pizza are high-grade jobs, because when you move to Canada, first of all, you need driving license. It takes a couple of months. Then you need to buy a car. Then you are upgraded to become a pizza driver. I mean, becoming a pizza driver in Canada,
I have no problem with
it's not a small
pizza
thing.
driver,
It's
but
a promotion.
It's a promotion.
chalo. But one last bit before we wrap up is this entire discussion around assimilation.
Yes.
I want to speak a lot
yes.
on this first,
yes.
because I feel very strongly about it. People keep talking about people assimilating. There is no universal way of assimilation. The Parsis came to India. I think they are assimilated.
Yes.
You are still not allowed to enter an Agyari in India if you are a non-Parsi.
Yes.
Are they assimilated or not? I think they are.
Yes.
Right? I think they are.
Yeah.
I think in a modern day MAGA world, they will say send them back.
Round them up and send
them back.
No matter they come here for
you
2 generations, 3 generations.
You have hit on the exact right example here. Because when they came to the coast of Gujarat, and then there was this initial confusion who they were, and then ultimately realized that they had come as refugees, the local king agreed specific terms with them on which he would allow them to stay. That, you will not bring your religion out in the streets. You will adapt to local dress.
Language.
Parsi women wear sari. They came from Persia, right? Certain conditions like that. Okay, those were very clear conditions. Both sides had agreed, and they were observed.
Yeah, that's
our multiculturalism, which is one of the stupidest concepts I have ever seen in my life, lets people do whatever, and if you object to it, you are a goddamn racist.
But again, now here's the problem with this assimilation argument. You can tell people to assimilate into a standardized model that is standard. आप समझ रहे हैं? भारत में साड़ी 4000 साल से है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हाइपोथेटिकल.
Right.
भारत में, एंड वो रहती है. यहाँ पे गोरे बच्चे खुद do you think that the attire of the average white person in Canada has been constant from 1930s on to 2020? So if they are not constant, how do they expect the one migrating into their country? भाई इवेंचुअली तो डिसाइड कर लेना, मेरे को शर्ट पैंट पहनने का है कि कच्चा पहनने का है कि फटा हुआ कच्चा पहनने का है कि फटा हुआ पैंट पहनने का है, तू डिसाइड कर. सी, my point is that when I come now, I wear Western attire living in India.
Right.
It's not like I am wearing dhoti kurta in India and wearing Western attire here. I am what I am. The point is that assimilation is a very... Did the initial people that came into Canada assimilate into the First Nations Canada? Is a very legitimate question even I want to ask now. Did they? Or did they impose a certain culture? Did they invade and impose their culture? I don't think they did, for the record. I don't. But if you're going to play this game, I can play it better than them. Because if assimilation is the criteria, then I'm sorry, the one telling me to assimilate also did not assimilate to the native culture they came into. Now their answer is that was inferior. Ours is superior.
Yeah.
तो उसका जवाब ये है कि तोड़ा कुत्ता टॉमी साडा कुत्ता कुत्ता.
हाँ जी, वो यही है.
It doesn't mean all cultures are equal. I definitely believe
Right.
some Western values are amazing, but I also believe some Eastern values are amazing.
Of course.
Like I think the East brings family values which are far better than the current atomized Western culture. I don't want that for my children. I want family values for my children. And I believe the Easterners are better in that. We have I don't believe in suppressing women's rights, but I also don't say that you should just keep on divorcing each other for the heck of it. We are all products of a stable marriage, and stable marriages lead to stable children, lead to much better, happy family lives. We cannot deny that. Now somebody will say, but no, the West also believes in that. No, I'm sorry, you don't. The ones who came up with these atomistic ideas were your people only. You don't. I did not bring this weird idea to you. In fact, most immigrants that come are actually very much like the conservative. They have conservative values. So what is assimilation? The idea now has become, which you hit in the beginning, that every time there is an economic downturn, they see problems in everything.
Yeah, one thing, and also when you talk about assimilation, we do have our desi phrase, jaisa desh, vaisa base.
Yeah.
So assimilation is not just about attire. When someone asked me about assimilating into Canadian society, from the right beginning, when I arrived here, I had one answer. I came to Canada to cherish current Canadian life. Okay, we hear two things: Canadian experience and Canadian values. Okay, what is Canadian experience? Okay, you want to drive Uber, you want to drive pizza delivery the car. So what would be the Canadian experience in that? For instance, it's just a driving. Of course, driving in Canada is different than driving in Pakistan or in India. It's more well mannered. That's absolutely fine. But Canadian value, you may wear sari, you may wear bikini, but Canadian value is whoever you are in Canada must believe in 2-3 basic components. One is the gender equality. Okay. When it comes to gender equality,
we should assimilate. I agree.
When it comes to...
That's a well-defined idea.
Gender equality, freedom of expression, individual freedom.
Are you sure Canadians want freedom of expression?
No, but that's where I'm coming to. Freedom of expression, they have their own notion, because they want their kind of freedom of expression. They don't truly believe in freedom of expression. I was contributing to many mainstream media outlets as a freelance writer, and eventually they banned me, sort of. Why? Because they could not tolerate freedom of expression.
Yeah.
And I was very respectful. I was working within the norms of Canadian journalism, within the norms of writing parameters. But they didn't like going out of their boundaries. One thing. Okay. So one day I was having an argument with my editor. I said, okay, when I say gender equality, but there are some mosques here who are preaching for polygamy. There are some even Christian institutes who are preaching for polygamy. So where is that gender equality? I couldn't get any answer.
That exactly is my problem with this entire "you have not assimilated into my society" problem. I think on average I am far more assimilated into any part of the world because I believe there are certain things: gender equality, freedom of expression,
Individual freedom.
civic sense,
Civic sense.
civic
Yes.
sense.
That's
Very
a major
important.
point of friction.
Yeah,
Yes.
civic sense, and civic sense includes driving manners, holding the door, and stuff like that. And I got no problem in that. And that that Canadians are fundamentally decent people. Anybody who has watched my content, probably I'm the biggest proponent of fundamental Canadian decency. But my problem is when you say assimilation means I have to change my religious identity. I say this with full responsibility. All of you can go to hell.
Yeah.
All of you can go to hell. I am not, and this is coming from an atheist.
Yeah.
All of you can go to hell if you think I am going to change my religious identity just because you have this phony notion of assimilation.
Yes.
And F around and find out with me.
Yeah.
Try to. Because I read the damn Bible and I know it like the back of my hand. Because that's all atheists do. They read religion. Because they read it.
No, but the thing is, demand to change the religion is mainly towards Hindus and Sikhs. Tell you the truth. They cannot demand this thing to other religious communities.
Right.
So
that is another reality.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, there are no good defining points other than the notion of being well assimilated. Like, I'm from Mumbai. I was born and raised in a majority Jain area. I was a Punjabi in a Gujarati area.
Right.
Now there are Gujarati conclaves in Mumbai, Baba, and Jain in that. Because Jains, they have their food preferences. They like to live in communities. Then they have their own Jain temple inside. They are not ghettoizing. They are not creating a nuisance for outsiders. And yes, Jains don't let non-vegetarians in their society because for them it's a breaking deal.
Yeah.
Beyond the point, you have to let people be also. You can't say ki nahi. Singapore has this absurd sort of a system. I don't know how many of you know about it. Forcible housing, government housing. 20% Indians, 20% Chinese, 20% ye, 20% only government housing, not in private. But I don't want that kind of a society. What is this? I don't, you know what? There are times I know if I want Indian food, I have to go to Brampton. And the best Indian food. If I want nice Italian food, I'll go to Vaughan. If I want, Chinese cuisine, I'll go to Markham. I'll go there. I know those areas, right?
Yeah, but as you rightly said, the difference is between community and ghetto.
Yes.
And we have successfully created ghettos. They started off as communities, like there is a Greek corner on the Danforth, right? So it started out like that, Chinatown, Greek town, etc. But then they became ghettos, and especially in the suburbs with the non-European immigrants.
Yeah, but honestly, Bathurst and Shepherd is the Jewish area.
Yeah.
There are only Jews there. You go to New York, there are certain areas where only Jews live.
Yeah.
And open, they have their full-on Orthodox attire. I actually loved it. I'm like, I wanted to have a conversation with a few of them, but I just, because of apathy of time, I could not. Next time I go, I'm going to make sure I have conversations with them. And they may disagree with my religious worldview. And let me tell you, I don't know how many of you remember the famous case of the Jews finding that underground place during COVID in New York.
Yeah.
It was hilarious, but see what they were driven to do. Because they had to pray. And they're like, nahi bhai, main to niche ja raha hu. तू मेरे को रोक नहीं सकता है. अब अगर वो गेटो नहीं होता तो वो लोग ये नहीं कर पाते. वो था, वो लोग ने कर दिया, कोई आया भी नहीं उनको देखने के लिए. But the point is, neither am I justifying a ghetto, but I don't know how am I supposed to assimilate. I really don't. People say assimilate, then you are only 1% in a 98% Europeanized area. You become 5%, they say you are taking over. अरे भाई मतलब क्या है? So area wise quotas, how are you going to manage it? Any new person who comes, what is the first thing I looked at as a young student from India in his early 20s? I look for an Indian Student Association. I look for Indian areas. Why? Because I wanted Indian food. If I don't have what they call ghettos or whatever areas, I would have struggled. Like, I know what my father-in-law went through in the 70s. He came to Canada in the 70s. This Hindu Sabha Mandir was built in front of him.
Right.
He was one of the first few people who struggled to build it. He tells me stories like, Brampton pura khali hota tha, kuch hota hi nahi tha Brampton.
Yeah.
In front of my own eyes, in the last 25 years, Brampton has just become full of Indians now. Eventually, these second generation Indians are going to go out of Brampton. Brampton is going to become, I always say, Brampton is going to become a senior citizen town like Amritsar. If you stop immigration from India, nobody is going to stay in Brampton. आप मेरे को बताओ, आज की डेट में Brampton में second generation बच्चे barely रहते हैं. लोग तो निकल जाते हैं. They venture out, they educate, they venture out. Your own family is a classic case of that. So, like, if you stop the fresh flow, ये अपने आप ghetto dissolve हो जाएगा. आप वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएगी, मगर प्रॉब्लम हमारी थोड़ी ना है. हम तो उधर ही जाएंगे ना जहां हमारा एरिया है. हाँ, now assimilation, you say you have to speak English, thumbs up. I was the one who said if you don't speak English, don't come to Canada in the National Security Conference. I was the one who said that. Now, if that is the requirement, I'm with you. But you say you don't worship? What is this nonsense?
And also, my emphasis towards all politicians and the policymakers, that the immigrants who want to assimilate, let them assimilate. Because our Canadian system, our political brass, they don't want us to assimilate in the Canadian system. They want to treat us as their vote pockets. That's the biggest issue. We want to live Canadian life in our own way.
Yeah, it's like Indians don't watch hockey. Indians watch hockey all the time.
Yeah. Tariq Fatah Sahab,
right,
the late Sir Tariq Fatah Sahab, he used to say, somebody asked him, I was at one of his events and somebody asked him, like, why aren't you as influential in politics as the Islamists? And Tariq Fatah Sahab said, I am not ugly enough to be Muslim. he was conveying the political priority, that you have to have a big beard, wear that ethnic attire from Arabia, and be as incompatible with a Western society as you can possibly be. Then you are valuable to the politician. As a minority. People like you, Tahir bhai, myself, we are not valuable politically because we are assimilated.
And the funny thing is, we were like this in India
from 3 generations. When the British started their own education system, my grandfathers, both of them, were among the earliest entrants to that system, where everything was taught in English. 3 generations.
It beats me that, and what do you make of this? There is this breed of Indians, वो चाय से केतली गरम है अभी. वो अपने लोगों को ऐसे पेलते हैं जैसे वो उनसे ऊपर है. ओ भाई, वो जो आएगा वो थप्पड़ मारने, वो थोड़ी ना तेरे से पूछेगा क्या बोलना हो, तो तेरी शक्ल देखेगा, तेरे को भी पेल के चले जाएगा. So there is criticism which all of us do of our own people. And there is this saying, these new Indians are like this. Arey bhai, kya new Indians are like this? You were also like this.
Yeah.
You learned the ways when you came over here.
Yes.
Like, I'll be the first one to admit, I was very good at written English. Spoken English, because, arey bhai, in India, why would I speak in English?
Right.
Especially then.
Then I was speaking in Hindi. It didn't mean I did not know English. Just बोलने में थोड़ा confidence issues होता है. Fluency was not there, but I became fluent in 6 months. I was very good at written English.
Right.
Excellent. My mother is a master's in English literature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and you have to give me some time, right?
Yeah.
And today there's this feeling, yes, but again, who gave the exception that students don't need police
clearance
certificate? The Canadian politician gave it, yaar. And you're blaming us. The gangsters knew, so they came through the student route.
Yeah.
The gangsters immediately found out कि अरे यहाँ पे PCC नहीं चाहिए, तो चलो student बन के आ जाओ.
See, one of the 4 guys who is charged with assassination of Hardeep Nijjar, he came on a student visa took a 1 year leave of absence and was working at a warehouse in the night shift. Now, if you create this kind of a crap system, people are going to take advantage
I
of
mean,
it.
it is garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
You create a poop-worthy system, you're only going to get stinking smells out of it. You literally created a system to attract the worst out of India. It doesn't mean Indians are bad. It just means Indians are human. They have good, bad, mediocre. Just like you do. But to take it out on the entire community, and it's like there has to be some level of rationality over here. And what I am amazed is there is so much racism, and even our community is like, it's not happening with me, right?
Yeah.
Oh, bhai, it is happening with you.
In
If it
fact,
happens with your neighbor, it is happening with you, and it will happen with your child in school.
Yeah.
It will.
Not will, it is happening.
But look, yes, it is already happening with some children in school.
No.
And we, as a closing remark, I would only say this, and then I'll hand it over to you guys. If we don't get our act together as a community, and we don't categorically tell politicians, we want you to stop mass immigration from India, anywhere in the world. We want you to start trade with India, the fastest growing economy in the world. That's where you need India. Hello. I sent a chart to Darshan bhai. Okay, of the trade. Darshan bhai, लगाओ वो Excel sheet. लगाता हूं मैं, चलो. नंबर देखोगे आपको दिमाग खराब हो जाएगा. ताहिर भाई, मैंने दर्शन भाई को वो चार्ट भेजा था. एंड दर्शन भाई भी हैरान हो गए. बोलो क्या हाल है ये सड़े हुए देश का कि मतलब यही करते जा रहे हैं हम लोग. इट इज स्कैरी. ताहिर भाई, मैं आपको बताता हूँ, वो दिस इज कैनेडा सर्विस इंपोर्ट्स. आप उस सर्विस इंपोर्ट्स देखो. 80% ऑफ कैनेडा सर्विस एक्सपोर्ट्स टू इंडिया. 80% सर्विस एक्सपोर्ट्स और इंपोर्ट्स ऑफ कैनेडा. आप उसके फिगर देखोगे ना ताहिर भाई,
राइट,
वो स्टूडेंट
है. 80% of the service export from Canada to India is education, which means we are not actually exporting, we are importing people.
Yes.
And counting it as export.
ये देखो. Travel. That's all it is.
Yeah, my God.
Out of a total of 17 billion, 14 billion.
India service import from Canada.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers, Tahir bhai. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
My God.
Tahir bhai, ये नंबर देखिए. ये सोर्स स्टेटिस्टिक्स कनाडा है. ये लोगों ने बर्बाद कर दिया. हमारा खून चूस ले और अभी हमको ही गाली दे रहे हैं. नंबर देखो आप. मेरा दिमाग काम करना बंद हो गया जब मैंने ये नंबर देखे. It is insane, and these people have the nerve to come and blame us. लो और बड़ा कर दिया. पूरी स्क्रीन देखो. It is insane. How can anyone justify this? They basically, the service they sold to India was buying humans. That's all because they did not know what to do.
Yeah.
It's this, if nothing scares you, this should scare you.
Yeah.
And I had kept all of this ready for today's show because I have had it up to here now. Everything we said is coming true.
Yes.
You name the problem, it was highlighted by an Indian way before anyone else. And today the same Indians are being hated on.
Yeah.
So my passing message to everyone is, listen, if we have a problem, the solution lies in rationalizing our immigration, maybe halting. I think it's pretty much halted now. I think it's as good as halted only. They are only struggling with the numbers that are inside Canada. Other than that, it is pretty much halted now. But can you please grow a functioning brain and have some decency that if Darshan Maharaja would not have exposed the damn scam, you would not have known it.
Yeah.
Like, have some freaking decency that if Tahir Gora would not have spoken about Islamism, you idiots would not have known it. Otherwise, Tariq Fatah and Tahir, तो क्यों लाए ताहिर गोरा और तारिक फतेह को इधर? लड़ लो ना इस्लामिज्म से. इनके बगैर लड़ सकते थे क्या ये लोग?
नहीं, अब तो उन्होंने अपने ऊपर सवार कर लिया.
If you can't be,
yeah, I mean, these are the discussions we can, of course, do for days and days. I can tell you. But the thing is, I mean, now we are sort of silent.
So, passing, ending remarks.
Right. Ending, conclusive remarks from my side. The discussion is very important, what we did today, and we have to continue this discussion. We have to engage other fellows as well. We are facing dire issues, and I don't know. We Canadians, because I consider myself full-fledged Canadian, I no longer hold even Pakistani citizenship, Pakistani passport. Canada is my, it's not just the Karam Bhumi, it's my, I'm going to bury here, of course. So Canada is my everything. I love this beautiful country. It is really beautiful country, as you say, Kushal ji, over and over, that Canadians generally are very decent people, and we are part of those Canadians. So let's, my conclusive remark is, to all fellow Canadians, let's talk. Let's converse, because unless we don't talk openly, freely, we won't be able to find solutions. And as you said, and as Darshan bhai said, ultimately we are the ones who are going to offer solution for those complex issues associated with our quote-unquote immigration, because we know our culture, we know our people. We can suggest our fellow Canadians, our fellow political parties, that this is the way we can fix our system. The problems fellow Canadians raise towards our cultures, Islamist culture. I mean, I am in kind of a cross section that I can handle my Desi, Punjabi, my Bharati culture, as well as Islamic issues, because I fall into both categories. Categories.
ਕਿ ਬੁੰਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾ ਲੈ ਕਣਕ ਦਾ ਨਾਣਾ, ਮੈਂ ਜੰਨਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ.
ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਜੰਨਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ. ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਜੰਨਤ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੀ ਬੜੀ. ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਜन्नत हैगी ਉੱਥੇ जावे.
दर्शन भाई,
बाबा अमीर अबू जरी का शेर है पंजाबी का, मैं और वही समझते हैं पढ़ देता हूँ. वो मतलब हम आजकल बड़ी फ्रैंक लैंग्वेज यूज करते हैं. कहते हैं बुंडे चला ला कणक दा दाना, मैं जन्नत विच नहीं जाना.
दर्शन भाई,
कुशल जी, दो तीन चीजें क्लियर हैं. वन इज Hindu Indian community needs to be more united and more focused and more practical, rather than believing in lofty ideals and being apathetic to political arena, because ultimately it will percolate down to the social arena. So we have to be more effective in dealing with media, with politicians. At least some of the time they have to pay attention to what we are saying and frame their actions and policies accordingly. And secondly, we have to connect better with the broader Canadian society, rather than remaining cocooned in our ethnic or religious identity, so that people know and talk about what you are doing in the society for the society, rather than just posting about your Garba celebration or Bhangra celebration or Nagar Kirtan or whatever. Because social media being what it is, it will keep feeding people what they are watching. So they will get a perception as if that's all you are doing. So you have to feed them the other side also, that we are running this food bank, or helping people who are needy, etc. Then because I have always believed that the actual racists in Canada is a very vanishingly small number.
Absolutely.
It's only the economic hardship and social friction that has swelled their numbers and raised their voices. They are more vociferous now.
And they are actively aided and abetted by Pakistan.
Yes. So these are the antidotes to the racism as I see it.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more with both of you. Your struggles in Canada are far more like people like my father-in-law and all of these people, right? You guys have, I still, मैं तो 5.5 महीने में भाग जाता हूँ. And I have no problems in stating that is my clear priority.
So you are half and half.
हाँ, मैं आधा इधर आधा उधर, मैं ऐसा ही रहने वाला हूँ. But I feel for my community. I repeat once again that eventually the story that I shared today about those girls being sexually exploited, which, and this is not the first time, this is not the last time. By some estimates, just in GTA, there are 4,000 Indian girls being sexually exploited right now.
Maybe more.
These are estimates that are coming from government sources, both sides, India and Canada. I have confirmed this number. If you care, once again, stop coming to Canada. Don't ruin your children's lives. It doesn't mean you don't need to leave India. If you want to leave India, you can leave India. But definitely, as of now, Canada is not a good destination if you want to. It's a great country, but I honestly don't believe it's a country that is willing to offer anything new in terms of innovative thinking. And it's the Canadian political class that needs to change. But to the racists, I can only say one thing. Be very careful what you wish for, because right now the Indian community is also at a tipping point. They've also had it up to here now. And there will be lawsuits. There will be lawsuits. So if you're a racist, you should be worried. And to certain conservative media outlets, Darshan bhai knows, be very careful. Don't try to, don't try to milk this anti-Indian hatred, because eventually your papa will come in power and all of you will shut up. If I don't believe the conservatives are winning for a long time in Canada, that's a separate issue. But their papa is clearly in some very nefarious elements' pockets. So, they should fix their own house and then talk about others. But again, the people talking about all these issues and who are at the forefront of all of this has always been Indians. And this is my closing remark to everyone. The ones who broke the primary story were Indians. The one who broke the student scam was an Indian. The one who broke the sexual exploitation was an Indian. The one who demanded mass immigration stop was an Indian. And the one who gets all the hate is also an Indian. So there are, as the old adage goes, kuch shehar ke log bhi zalim the, kuch hame bhi marne ka shauk tha. That yes, the people in the city were also tyrants, but we also had a death wish. And we will end there. But this platform, the Cārvāka podcast, has always tried to have a balanced view of this. So while you will see me criticizing mass immigration, not for once live under the assumption that I am going to take unnecessary bullshit against an Indian or anybody for that matter. If you're a racist, you can go to hell. And this is a special warning to each and every racist. If you cross the line, there will be defamation lawsuits from the Indian community now. So be very careful what you wish for. We will follow Canadian law, and we will also use all means available in the Canadian legal arsenal against you. And you punish the person who breaks the law. The repeat offenders are your legal problem, not our legal problem. We'll stop at that. I'll see you guys next time. Keep following everyone, all the details, whether it's Darshan Maharaja, Tahir, Gora, or whether you want to support the Cārvāka podcast. Everything is available in the description of the podcast. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, namaste. Take care. Bye-bye.